every week there's a little bit of whiskey news, and then some weeks there's big whiskey news.
Going back to what I mentioned earlier, how Booker's is kind of always my go-to upper crust store, like kind of my, I guess I could call it my favorite. It was really kind of the thing that I always reach for. Like I would get bottles of it for Christmas. People knew that it was my thing.
Yeah.
It was $60, but it would be on sale occasionally for 55, and I would always scoop it up. As the price on Booker's sort of increased, it started to push me away, and it has now become sort of my line in the sand, which I sort of use as like an arbitrary buy or don't buy line. Anything that's more than $75 to me is something that I really need to be able to justify. Either I've tried a sample of it, or somebody who knows my palate and knows me and I trust their palate has said, you got to try this, you're gonna like it. And even then it still takes a little bit of a push sometimes. Rare Bird 101, David Jennings can attest to that. He had to basically kick me to get me to pick up a Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit one time, and then I thanked him profusely for it. Anytime we start to talk about things like that, where it's like getting a little bit expensive, but like you still kind of want it because it's got that premium vibe to it and you know you like it. Booker's just dropped a new label that hit the TTB for their Booker's Single Barrel, the Second Chance Batch. So we should probably discuss this maybe at a good amount of length.
Yeah, so I mean, this is huge news. Like from day one, Booker's, for those of you who don't know, is produced by Jim Beam, so it's a product within the Beam family. Booker Noe, at this point, I want to say he was fifth generation because we got Fred at sixth. No, sixth generation because then we got Fred at seventh and then Freddie at eighth.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I hope I didn't mess that up. But anyways, Booker, this product came out. It was supposed to be, kind of the primordial, like unfucked with whiskey from the Beam family. Like, it was going to be cast strength, but always blended. It was going to come from the center of the warehouses. It was going to be kind of the raw, unbridled, uncut, unfiltered, kind of the Joe Rogan of whiskey from the Beam family. But Booker hated single barrels. He hated the idea of inconsistency. It was always going to be a blend. And here we are seeing a Booker's drop a single barrel, which is something, I kind of figured hell would freeze over, and out of nowhere, we have a label. It's happening. Like, this is basically guaranteed to be dropping.
Yeah, this is a pretty exciting time. I mean, one thing that has always sort of rubbed me the wrong way with the way that the Beam releases have gone is that the prices on things like Booker's have gone up, which
Right.
I can understand. Over the last decade, the popularity of bourbon has exploded. So with that will come higher demand. So you can raise the prices, and that will allow you to expand your portfolio, bring out more products, which they've done. I mean, Beam has released a boatload of new labels. They've also gone as far as rebranding things like Baker's, which I think was a really good move, and I really like what they've done with it, to be honest with you.
I agree with you.
But like at the same time, I have a really hard time sometimes understanding where they're putting a premium. Is it on age? Is it on proof? Is it on something that I just can't even fathom, which it seems to be that it is. But like
The special sauce? Yeah.
right, exactly. I mean,
What-
Booker's has always sort of floated in that 6.5 year range.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're talking a 7.5 year on the single barrel.
Yeah.
But what is that going to do to the price, being that it's going to be a single barrel? That's obviously going to change the price point of it. So we're taking a product that was released as their premium product. I mean, this is like, we're talking about the time of Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit and Blanton's rolling out in the 80s to put that premium price point out there to get that upper echelon product on the shelf. Booker's is coming in as that product for the Beam family. What does the single barrel release do to the standard Booker's release?
Yeah, and I think it's important here to kind of talk about why this is coming out. So we've seen the label. For those of you who don't know, the TTB is the Tax and Trade Bureau. It is where brands submit, a label that they would like to turn into a product. And the TTB either says yes or no, or hey, go fix these couple of things. So it's public record. So we can see brands, see if they're trying out a new label, see if there's products coming down the pipe. It's never a guarantee, but for this one, I am 99% we're going to see this. And the reason why is that this is called Booker's Single Barrel Second Chance Batch. And what that means, Booker's releases 4 batches a year. They used to do 6. They name every batch, but this is a special batch to commemorate the University of Kentucky's, medical staff for a kidney transplant for Fred Noe. And so this is a special release. It's one single barrel. It's going to release at, I believe, $250 from kind of the banter I've been hearing from folks inside the industry. So a huge markup over regular Booker's, about 2.5 times. There's only going to be a few barrels, and it's basically going to raise money to thank the University of Kentucky for giving Fred Noe a second lease on life, a second chance batch. But still, like a year older, I don't think at this point you need to justify the price, but it's so interesting to see this product coming in the Booker's line instead of maybe like some crazy extra age Knob Creek or, some crazy Baker single barrel. Cause like Booker's was Booker Noe's legacy. Like it's interesting to see it attributed to Fred. And I'm thankful he made it through the surgery, new kidney. He's doing great, very happy for him, but it's Booker's single barrel. It just seems like the biggest red herring of all time, especially from Beam.
Yeah, it's totally crazy to me also that, if you look at the relaunch of Baker's, they took this small batch product and turned
and made it single barrel.
They made it a single barrel. And it's usually about 7.5 years. 7.5 to 8.5 is sort of where they've been floating around.
Yeah, it seems like it was like the poster child for this kind of release.
Exactly. It seems like this would have been your go-to for it. I'm not really checked out on what's going to happen with it in the future, if it will continue to be produced or not. But I'm really just excited and also kind of confused, which I sort of feel like happens every time Beam does something. Like, I feel excited about it, a little confused. It's still like a little bit hurt that Booker's SRP is so expensive now that it's basically out of the realm that I ever buy it, which it cuts me a little bit deep as somebody who has followed the product for a number of years. It's a little bit rubbing me the wrong way, but at the same time, I do like that there's progress going. So it's like kind of not bittersweet, but I'm like, I'm smiling about it, but I'm not smiling with my eyes.
Right. And it's fair too. Like, recently over on Reddit, I'm a moderator for r/bourbon. Go ahead and check it out. Great community there too. We just had Freddie Noe come do an Ask Me Anything. And multiple times people said, hey, Freddie, when are we going to get an R bourbon? Booker's single barrel. And he said, nah, Booker hated single barrels. You're never going to see it. And, that AMA is maybe 3 weeks in the ground. Like we buried that thing 3 weeks ago. And here we are seeing a book. And I get it. The context of a one-time charity fundraising thank you barrel to someone who saved Fred's life and we're opening the Booker single barrel program are very different things, but it's just the most interesting feeling being like we will never release a Booker single barrel. And
and that's the part to smile about, right, is the charity side, and that they're taking something that was a net positive and trying to spread around the good vibes from it. I think that's cool.
Totally.
I'm all for using whiskey to raise money for charity. We do this a few times a year through the single barrel program that you manage. We are actually currently in the process of doing another charity barrel right now.
Hell yeah.
Those things are great. I love all of that. I think it's good to find causes that are important to you and to leverage what you can, especially if that is whiskey, and use that to do some good. All cool with that. But also, what the hell? That's kind of like
confused. I'm excited, but I'm confused.
I'm excited but confused is a great way to sum that up.
Yeah, I think at this point we said all we need to say. Like Booker's small batch is now Booker's single barrel for this one release. That's a notable departure. I'm excited. I'm confused. I'm happy that we get to see more of Fred Noe. Obviously the dude makes great whiskey, so thankful on that side. But
love Fred.
Yeah, excited and confused.
All right,
excited and confused.